Hi guys, it's your girl Melissa. I'm back. Did you guys miss me? So today we have a nice tutorial for you guys, a nice halo eye. So I'm starting off with the Jamrock palette and the Jamrock No Limitations palette from Plain and Makeup by Yolando. Everything will be listed down below, so don't worry guys, I got you guys. Alright, so let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to be using the Helen E primer. And we're going to use that as our base for our eyeshadow. As you guys know, this is my favorite primer. I just love it. Alright, so I'm applying the Helen E primer right there. And I'm going to make sure not to take this primer too far up underneath her brow bone because we don't want that area to be ashy. And then we're just going to use our brush and blend around the edges just to make sure everything is nice and blended. Yes, and thank you Cassandra, she is my model. Thanks girl. Alright, so first we're going to be using that purple color and we're going to blend around the eye. So as you guys know, I like to build up my color. I don't ever like to put too much color at once because I find that it's harder for you to blend it out. So I rather start with a little color and then build up as I go, as opposed to putting so much on. So what I'm doing is I'm building up on that purple. And you don't want too much color because you don't want to completely mattify your base. And then it's going to be hard for your other colors to pick up. Alright, so now we're moving on to a darker purple and we're building up on that crease, but a little bit lower this time. You don't want that color to be too high into the crease. Alright, so after we've done that, I'm going to go back to my first color and then just blend around the little edges just to make sure everything looks nice and smooth. Blend, blend, blend. And then lastly, we're going to deepen up the crease one more time with the deepest purple. And we're going to build up on that color just a little bit lower than the second color. And as you guys can see, as I'm building up on the color, my brushes are getting smaller. So then I could be more precise when I'm blending. So I'm just going back to all my previous colors. And then I'm making sure to get the edges of each color just to make sure I have a nice gradient. Blending, blending, blending. Blending is your best friend, if you haven't noticed. But yes, I just love this purple look. It's so cute. And then the blue, it just made it pop. Okay guys, so after we've done this technique is everything. I'm going to take some Vaseline and I'm going to basically kind of carve out the crease. So what this is going to do is basically going to carve out the crease and then you're going to clean it off with a wipe. And then voila, you have like a little cut crease thing majigger for you. Look at that. Easy. And P.Louise says this is the best way to use their base. I'm going to be using their paints. And I've tried to use it without this method before and I found that it cracked a lot. But when I did it this way, I found that one, it was also easier to draw my cut crease. And two, it didn't crack. So now I'm drawing out the cut crease. So I'm kind of forming the line first and then I'm going to bring it down, and then after that I'm going to make sure to perfect my shape to make sure I have a nice halo eye. So just watch me work guys. Oh, and the brush that I'm using is from Bedelium Tools. The number is 936. I also recommend the Morphe M224 brush. Those brushes are really nice and thin. So it helps me get that cut crease really sharp. Okay, so right now I'm just patting out the base just to make sure it's nice and smooth. You don't want your base to be streaky or not smooth because your eyeshadow won't be smooth. So what I'm doing is I'm using the same crease color and I'm building those colors in the inner and the outer corner of the eye just to create a nice gradient. Remember, we're doing more of a halo eye, so the inner and the outer corner has to be a little bit darker. Okay, and I'm building on those colors nice and slowly. Everything I do is like a gradual build. You don't ever want to put too much at once because it's going to be harder for you to blend out. unless you got it like that. If you got it like that, then go ahead and do whatever you want. Don't listen to me because I don't know shit. Okay guys, so after we've done building up our color, I'm just going to use like a light glitter. I didn't use glue in the video, but go ahead and use some glue. And the glue that I like to use is lash glue. So this glitter is like a nice iridescent color. I should have used some glue. And I'm going to apply a pigment right on top. This pigment is from Peaches and Cream and it's called Mermaze. There we go, Mermaze. Okay, so it's like a nice blue iridescent color. It's really pretty. So I'm applying it mainly towards the center of the eye, right there. And you want to kind of overlap it on the edges, but not too much. Okay, and after we've done that, we're going to take our brush and we're going to lightly go over the edges one more time, just to make sure that pigment is blended. After I've done that, I'm going to add some nice eyeliner. This eyeliner is from Wet n Wild, one of my favorite liners, and I'm using a disposable to apply the liner. And just a little line, nothing too crazy, because for halo eyes, I don't like wing eyeliners. For some reason, I don't like it. And then after that, I'm going to use the same P.Louise paint, and I'm going to apply that in the waterline. To give it a pop, I'm cleaning off the fallout, getting rid of all that glitter and all that excess eyeshadow and pigment. Alright guys, now let's get onto the face prep. So I'm using some Pond's moisturizer all over her face. And then I'm going to blend that out. Okay, I'm blending that out with the Beauty Blender. Now let's talk about her features though. Do you guys see her full eyebrows, her skin, her bone structure? Like what? Yes, she can be my model anytime. Alright, so after that I'm going to use the NYX Pore Filler as my primer. And I'm just applying that with the brush. Okay, and I'm mainly applying this primer in the T-zone. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to conceal. So she has dark circles underneath her eyes. So I'm going to use a concealer that's a little bit darker than her complexion. And I'm just applying this underneath the eyes, an area that I see, and any area that I see that she has a lot of dark spots. And I'm just going to conceal. And I'm going to let that concealer dry down a bit before I apply the foundation. And this concealer is from Tarte. Most likely it's the color Rich Sand. And then I'm going to blend that just a little bit, but we don't want to blend it out all the way. We want to let that dry down so I can get that coverage that I'm looking for in that concealer, and so that it could cover up those dark spots. So after we've done that, we're going to apply the foundation right on top. Alright, so for her I use Nars and I mixed a little bit of Becca. The exact shades of everything will be listed in the description below. And I'm going a little bit darker than her complexion just because, as you guys know, when I highlight, I like to go light. So that's going to help so that when I highlight, I don't overly brighten her face and make her look like a ghost. We don't want our clients to look like a ghost. So I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in Deep Sand. And I'm going to apply this concealer in all her highlight points. So that's underneath the eyes, the nose, the forehead, the chin, the upper lip also. I also like to highlight that area. Okay, so after that, we're going to let that concealer sit a little bit and we're going to move on to cream contouring. So the contour foundation that I'm using is from AJ Crimson. Number 8. I love this foundation because it's so rich and it's so dark. So it helps me to still give my clients with really dark complexions, it helps me to give them that definition. Like a good contour and highlight. You already know that's my thing. So we're going to contour her up. So I'm just applying this. I'm not blending this out yet. Okay, so after we've done this, we're gonna take a smaller brush. Oh wait, never mind. We're blending. So we're gonna lightly blend out the concealer. And this beauty blender is from Shop Miss A. Guys, if you guys have not tried these beauty blenders, you're missing out because they're like $2 and they're bomb. I don't even use the regular beauty blenders anymore. All I use are these. They're really, really soft and bouncy, and they're just it, and it's not $20, so I love them. So I'm blending out all of those areas first. Okay, and as you guys can see, I always like to keep my brush in hand, and that's gonna help to blend everything together. Remember, the brush has some foundation on it, so it's gonna help mesh all the colors together, and I'm using a tapping motion. Okay, now is when we get to the smaller brush. So I'm going to use a smaller brush, and I'm going to lightly carve out her nose. We want to give her some definition in that nose. I love a good nose contour. So I left that concealer unblended in the middle so that I can have a guideline to where I want to put my nose contour. And you want to make sure to blend the contour into the brows too. After that, I'm going to blend out that concealer using the beauty blender. And then I'm going to use the sides of the beauty blender to make sure that contour is also blended. You don't want it to be harsh. So now once I feel like everything is blended, I'm going to go ahead and set. I'm using Mercier, the deep one on her. So if you want like a brighter highlight, you can always mix it. Sometimes I'll mix it with a little bit of Sacha, depending on how I want the look to be. So I'm using that on all the highlight points that I did previously. And I'm just pressing that into her skin. Okay, and now I'm doing the nose. I'm using my disposable sponge so that I can keep that line nice and straight, so I can give her some precise lines on that nose. After that, I'm going to carve out underneath the contour. You don't have to do this step, but I like to do it. Okay, so now let's go back to the eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and smoke out underneath the eyes. I'm using like a dark purple. And this is a definer brush from Morphe. And after that, I'm taking more of a detailed brush, and I'm using a blue, like a dark blue, just to bring some color into the eyes. And I'm smoking that out. Now after we've done that, I'm adding a little bit of glitter. So this is Urban Decay Midnight Cowboy. And then I'm going to add a little bit of pigment to the inner corner. This is Peach's Makeup Fantasy Pigment. It's like a purplish pigment, and I felt like that tied the whole look together. So I'm going to take my brush. This brush is from Real Techniques. It's the setting brush. I'm going to lightly wipe away that powder. And you want to make sure when you wipe away the powder, you use light pressure. And after that, you want to lightly press it in. I didn't show that in the video, but you just want to lightly press it in. Okay, so now we're going to move on to contouring. So I'm using my black opal, no, this is black Radiance contour palette. I think this is the deep to dark version. And we're going to use that powder to contour her face. You don't need too much because it is really, really pigmented. So I'm going to contour the same points that we did when we cream contoured. And you know what's funny, guys? When I do her makeup, she never does any looks like this. We always go natural. So when she was looking at herself, she was like, wow, this is different. So I'm going to go back over the nose one more time. And this is the Riri Bronzer and Cocoa Naughty. Or Mocha Naughty, one of those. Okay, we're going to use that to contour her nose. And we left that powder on the nose for the same reason. We want to kind of trace out where we want to place our contour. So now we're going to add some blush. This is the Juvia's Place Blush Palette. And I'm going to make her smile and apply those to the cheeks and bring it back. Not too much because she does have color on her eyes, so you don't want her cheeks to be too pink or too rosy. Okay, so you guys know I love me some highlight, so we're applying some highlight. This highlighter is from Mariah Carey. It's from MAC, and it's the Mariah Carey collection. This is discontinued, but any kind of bronzy highlight that's not too much will work. So we're building up on that highlight. So this is going to be like my first layer. Alright guys, so after we have that highlight on there, I'm going to build up on that. So I'm going to be using the Dose of Colors Royal Hotness. This highlight is perfect for your chocolate clients. Like, look at it. And I love that it doesn't look ashy or white on them. It just gives them that nice warm glow. So I'm going to build up on that highlight on all the highlight points. Okay, now after we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and highlight the nose. We're going to highlight the tip and then the very bridge of the nose. I like to do it this way. I feel like it looks good. And I don't like too much highlight on the nose. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to move on to the lips. I'm using Morphe Trendsetter lip liner. And I'm just going to follow her natural shape. And I like to make the lip liner a little bit thick so that when I do put my lipstick, I can get a nice ombre. You don't want to be left with a harsh line when you apply the lip liner. So I'm adding some lipstick. This lipstick is from Colored Raine. I'm going to put the exact name down below. I don't remember it. Colored Raine, and then I'm going to go over the lip liner one more time just to blend it out. And then once we've done that, I'm just going to apply some clear gloss. And this clear gloss is from Black Radiance. Okay, so I'm going to apply some lashes. You guys know I love some dramatic lashes. So we're going to apply some lashes. Okay, I'm just making sure the lashes are on. And after that, I'm just going to apply some mascara just to make sure her lashes and the falsies blend together. Alright guys, do you guys see this look? She looks so bomb. I did apply some setting spray. I probably didn't show it, it's off camera, but I'm in love with this look. And she was trying to figure out how to pose. So this is the final look, guys. Please subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you guys want to see. I am going to do some more in-depth tutorials. This is just like a little talk through, a little something just to get my feet wet because I know I've been missing, but I'm back. Alright, so make sure you guys subscribe, like, share, and let me know what you guys want to see down below. I am going to try to upload more frequently, especially because Miss Rona is here. She is here to stay, so I'm inside.